Hey, family, and welcome back to Her Reality Check. I am your host, Madison Johnson, and you already know the tea. This podcast is all about love the good, the bad, and the delusional. And yes, I've been that girl, but I no longer am. And I stand on this God did not create us to settle. So grab your wine, get comfy, and let's dive into today's reality check. So this episode I'm so excited about, y'all. I've been thinking about it since I really started the podcast, and so many people have asked me to explain how I do my makeup and give a tutorial. So for the 15th episode of the podcast, I wanted to do like my makeup routine. So the title of this episode is Get Ready with Me, and it's going to be a combination of an in-depth makeup tutorial where I'll discuss all the steps that I do, tips, tricks, and the products that I use. And also maybe we'll have like a little girl talk. But boys, like, you should listen to this too, because if you understand like what's going on in the mind of a woman, like you already got it all. Like, so you should listen. But yes, okay, so before we start, my wine of the day is the Stella Rosa, and it's the Stella Rosa Black. So yeah. So let's get started. I'm so excited. Okay, so the first step before I do anything is I always moisturize my face. I did that at home, but I use the Black Girl sunscreen, and it's the 30 SPF. I think they also have a 50, but I use the 30 when I brought it. I brought it with me, but I'm not going to bring it out. But that's what I put on my face. I feel like it kind of like makes my skin glow. So sometimes I'll just wear it by myself. It's also helped get rid of like some of the dark spots you see. So I put that on. I try to do it like every morning. Sometimes I'll even do it at night. Another skincare that I use is Olay. It's the vitamin C line. It's also really, really good. So yeah. Okay, so after I do the moisturizer, the next step is the primer. So I use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I also used to use like the Power Grip one, the blue one, and the pink one, and those are really good too. It kind of gives you like a sticky finish. It just makes your makeup stick. But I feel like this one works the best for my skin type. I have like combination skin, so that means I get oily sometimes in my T-zone area, but around like the perimeter of my face it can get really dry. So this one, to kind of minimize my pores showing through my makeup after maybe 5-6 hours, this one has worked the best for me. Now obviously I want to try more. I've tried the one size one. It's really good. It's a little bit too dry for me right here, so I didn't like it as much. I'll use it sometimes on my clients if they have really oily skin. I will use that one, and I know a lot of people like it, but this one works the best for me. So that's what I'm gonna put on first. And for this episode I also had like some topics that I wanted to discuss, because like it's a get ready with me. So imagine you're just on the phone with your homegirl or your homeboy on FaceTime, and you just want to talk about different things. That's kind of what I wanted to do. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things to talk about with life be lifing. So much is going on with work and trying to make time for your friends and like social life. It can be exhausting, but the one thing that I make sure to do is prioritize myself and my mental health. I think that's the biggest thing for me, and to make time. Like for me personally, what I like to do on the weekend, I like to go out and have a little drink. So that's what I try to make sure I make time to do for myself. I don't really like hard liquor like that, but I will get a daiquiri, and I love my wine. So that's what I try to do on the weekend. So after I do this, I kind of let it sit for a second. I want it to be dry. You can kind of see as it's sitting on my face, you can see the shine is leaving my face. So that's what I put on first. And then this is the foundation I use. It is like my holy grail now. I just got it. I used to use the Fit Me, and I still use it on my clients because it works well. And sometimes I'll still use that for myself. But I started using the Danessa Myricks foundation. I think it's the Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder, and I use it in the shade 7. I'll show y'all what it looks like. I got a new one yesterday because the one I had was almost empty. But yep, this is the one that's closest to my skin. I'm saying it's not an exact match. It's a little bit orange when I put it on, but once you apply concealers and powders and everything else, it kind of just comes together. So this is the best one that I like to use. I also tried on shades 6 and 6.5, and it fit my skin the best. That was all I'm wearing. It was like a perfect match to my face. But as a reminder, like, I want to make sure my foundation is matching my neck, and a seamless flow through the rest of my body, if that makes sense. I don't want it to just, my face to just stand out to be too light or too dark. So this one to me has a perfect finish. So yeah, I actually made a TikTok about this foundation, and it kind of went viral on TikTok. I didn't post it on Instagram. I should have, but yeah, it's great. Also, before I put it on with the brush, I prefer using a brush for anything, but it comes with this little, I don't know what it's called, scooper thingy, and I've used that before too. I don't like really making dents in my makeup, but I do use it sometimes. I feel like right here in this mirror, it looks like a really good match, but the one I had before was a little bit of an orange tint. But yeah, if you want to use this, you can also use it. I just put it on my face, and then I'm going to go through and blend with the brush and a beauty blender. For a while, I stopped using the beauty blender. I don't know why. I think it was picking up too much product, so I just stopped using it for a while. And then I took a makeup class when I was in high school, and they were like, use brushes for everything. So that's really when I started using more brushes than the beauty blender. Yeah. So I just try to kind of apply this everywhere, and then I'm going to put that right there. Then I'm just going to blend it out. But yeah, another one of the topics I was going to talk about is dating and relationships. I know, obviously, this podcast is all about love, but my love life personally is, yeah. But, you know, it's still going. What I'm learning to do now is not focus on it as much. I feel like, especially when I graduated from college, that's one thing I was thinking about a lot is, okay, I know my next step is, well, you know, I told y'all about my 5-year plan. I wanted to get engaged in college and then be married once I graduated college. So that plan obviously went out the window. So after that plan did not work out, I was like, okay, so what is next for me? What can I do? And I never wanted to be the type of person who's so focused on finding somebody, because, you know, I feel like I'm that girl on my own. And I know God created me to do so many like amazing things. And when that time comes that I am supposed to find somebody, it'll happen. So right now I feel like not complete isolation period, but just putting my focus in other things, if that makes sense. So focusing on work and like, you know, the podcast. And I also, this past weekend, I did makeup at Wiley University. I love saying Wiley University. You know, it used to be Wiley College, but they got their university accreditation anyways. But yeah, I did makeup at Wiley for the AKAs that just came out. And this was the most people I've ever done. And they were so sweet. It was 12 people I did, and I started at 4 a.m. And I didn't finish until like 3:30 p.m., which is pretty good for 12 people. And I really didn't take longer than a 5-minute break, and I just kind of went straight through. But y'all, by the end, like I was trying not to show it on my face. I was exhausted. Like my body was hurting. I was so tired. But it made me realize, like, okay, obviously every time I do makeup, I'm not going to be doing 11 to 12 people. But if I want to just start taking this business more seriously and start doing makeup consistently, that is a really good side hustle, because if I'm charging maybe like $70 to $100 a person, that's a lot of extra money. And just say I do just the weekends, and I do Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday, and I'll do like 5-6 people a day. That's good extra money. So I'm thinking about, you know, starting to take that a little bit more serious. But, you know, everything takes time. So now I'm going to go in with the Beauty Blender, and any kind of harsh lines I see. The hardest part for me is just blending stuff in my baby hair. And so I just tap it in with the Beauty Blender. Also, later today, I'm going to a work event, so I need this makeup to stay all day. But let me tell you all about the Danessa Myricks. So the reason the video went viral on TikTok, and I wanted her to see it, so maybe she could sponsor me, send me something for free. I still want her to see it. And a lot of people were attacking her in the comments, which I appreciated. Let me explain this step first. This concealer, it's kind of like the shade of my skin, but I just put a little bit under my eyes, my forehead, the same places I'm going to put the lighter concealer. And I'm going to blend that out with my Beauty Blender as well, just for a little bit of extra coverage. Put that right there. But yeah, the reason it went viral on TikTok is because I was showing how my makeup looked after having it on since 3 p.m. the day before, and it was 9 a.m. the next day, and my makeup like barely moved. Like it looked the exact same as when I first put it on. And I hadn't touched it up at all. And everyone was like, there's no way you've had this makeup on since yesterday. And I slept in it because I stayed at my friend's house and I didn't have a makeup wipe, and I don't really like, I was talking about how I don't really like to do that, but I don't really have an option. And if I don't have a makeup wipe, I don't like always putting soap and water because it takes so much to get makeup off. But that makeup stayed, and people were like, there's no way. I'm like, you have to try it for yourself, because I said, this is not an ad. This is real. This makeup stayed. So I think that's kind of why I went viral. People were shocked. And then after that, they were like, can you do a makeup tutorial? So I did one in my bathroom, but you know, I'd been planning to do this one. I was like, I want to do one that looks a little bit more professional and kind of goes more in detail about everything that I do. So the next is the concealer that I'm going to use. I use the e.l.f. concealer. I really like e.l.f. products. And you know, if you're being a baddie on a budget, e.l.f. is really good. You can get it at Ulta, but they also sell it at drugstores like CVS, Walgreens, stores like that. So e.l.f. And it's the Hydrating Camo Concealer. This one is in the shade Tan Sand. I don't know. I like this shade and the undertone of it for my brown girls. I use this on so many clients. So yeah, I put it right here under my eyes. Kind of go in like a triangle shape, I guess that's what you call it. Okay, and then I also do the forehead, down the bridge of my nose, a little bit above my top lip, and my chin. And I would let it sit for just a second, so you don't want to be too wet, but like to get more full coverage, you want to let the concealer dry a little bit before you blend it out. The brush that I use to blend is the Real Techniques brush. What brush is this? Oh, the 402. This is one of my favorite blending brushes for concealer. I use it on myself, on my clients. I haven't found anything that I like better. I know people use different brushes, but this is my favorite one so far. So yeah. I always blend under my eyes last because I want that to have the most coverage, so I let that sit the longest, if that makes sense. I also have this darker concealer shade. I tried it yesterday when I was kind of going over how I was going to do this. It's in the shade Rich Ebony, and I was going to use that for like the contour around my face. I'm going to still do a dot, but y'all, when I tell you it is so pigmented, I was like, okay, if I use this tomorrow, I cannot use a whole lot. I just put a few dots. So yeah, I'm gonna blend out my chin. But yeah, I got off the dating apps, y'all. I was like, this is just not working out. And I had met someone. He was nice, seemed nice. We went to church and everything, and then we went out to eat after. And we didn't talk after that. But he was like, I want to get to know you. Like, it went well. So I don't know what happened. But you know what? I didn't really trip over it because I feel like when stuff like that happens, when God removes people from your life, it was for a reason. So even though I may have thought the date or the hangout was nice, if he's not texting back already, that's not something I need to deal with. And it's too early to be sad about somebody that I just met, so I just let it go. And after that, I was like, okay, I'm done with the dating apps because I don't know what is wrong with some of these men in Dallas. I think that, like, when people move to Dallas, I've literally seen on TikTok, people are like, oh, I'm moving to Dallas to find love. I don't know why you would come here to do that. I have not met anybody, but maybe I'm just being biased and a little mean. But I'm going to finish blending the concealer. I blended out the other concealer around here just because I didn't want it to sit too long and dry, and then once it gets dry, sometimes if it's too dry, it's hard to blend, and I don't want to do that. So I'm doing the forehead area. Actually looks so cute. Okay, clock it. And down my nose. I don't do the contour of my nose just because I don't like it too heavy. I'm going to use a powder for that. The same powder I use around the perimeter of my face is the same powder I'm going to use to contour my nose. So yeah, I'm just blending it. And when you blend, it's not like a swiping motion, but more of you're just tapping. Just tapping it in. And then when I post this, I'm going to put like the list of products that I use below. So if you want to follow along and do it with me, you can have everything that I used. I don't really do anything fancy. Makeup, you can have all the right products. You can have the most expensive products. It really just takes practice is what I've learned. I've been doing my makeup since I was in 7th grade, like playing in makeup. My mom didn't want me to wear it. So I would just practice my makeup at home, and then I would practice on other people. It really looked a mess, so I'm sorry for the people whose makeup I did when I was just starting. I will redo it again for free because, yeah, I played. But I guess that's what it's all about. Like, you have to keep practicing. I practice in the summertime. I would do my makeup every day. That's when, around like 2016, I had all the crazy eye looks. I was doing like the rainbow eyes and learning how to do cut creases, glitter, rhinestones. That's when I was learning how to do all that stuff. I didn't really start doing makeup professional on other people until I got to college. And even then, it wasn't really professional. It was just on my friends. And I would do it on them. And then people would be like, oh, who did your makeup? And they would say Madison. So that's when people were like, can I book with you? I had no prices, anything. So now that's why I'm like, okay. When I was in college, I wasn't charging much, maybe $35, because we're college students. We all didn't have any money. I didn't want to overcharge students. So 35, which kind of got me a large clientele in college because, I mean, those are really good prices. But now we are adults and we have adult money. I got to raise my prices because I got things to pay for. But yeah, I'm just finishing the blend. This actually looks really cute. That's another thing, y'all. I cleaned my brushes last night. If your makeup is not coming out how you want it to do, like how you want it to, I've seen people's brushes that are so like packed with product. You need to clean your brushes. That is going to help you tremendously to get a smooth finish. So after about 4 times of me doing my makeup, once I see the makeup is starting to kind of get packed in there, I will clean my brushes. Oh, this is cute. So this is kind of the base before I apply any powder. Now I have this concealer. It's in the shade light beige. Bottle's kind of dirty. But if I want to do a bright under eye, which today I will go in just a little bit right here under my eye. Just a little bit because, y'all, it's really bright. And when I blend it out, it's a big difference. So I'm going to let that sit for a second and dry. I was really trying to decide today if I wanted to do my eyes first or the base. I go back and forth. And then the other day when I was doing it on my clients, I started off doing the base first, and then some of my clients have super watery eyes. So I'm like, okay, I don't want the base to keep getting messed up because that's like the hardest thing to fix for me. Maybe other makeup artists know how to fix it better than me, but once the eyes start watering after I put powder on, I'm like, okay, how can I fix this and like make it look like your eyes didn't just water? So I started doing the eyes first, and honestly I was moving quicker that way. So maybe on myself I do the base first, but on clients, when I started doing the eyebrows and the eyes first, it was much smoother. And if their eyes water during the eye process, it's okay because we haven't done the base yet. So I like that. Another topic I wanted to talk about was, oh yes, life after college. At first, when I first graduated, y'all, it was kind of rough. Now I'm just going to blend under my eyes. It was a little bit rough. For one, I didn't have, like, a job that I wanted, I liked. I started substitute teaching for maybe a month after I graduated. And that's one of the big things I say. If you're in school right now and you're about to graduate or you're graduating in 2 years, don't wait until the very last minute to start looking for jobs because the job market is already extremely hard. It's so hard to get hired. And if you need resume help, you can help me because I feel like I'm learning to really perfect my resume. LinkedIn is going to be your best friend, but start looking for internships right now. And that's going to help you. I had internships in college, but my internship was at a news station. And when you go into a bigger market, I live in Dallas. It's hard to get hired at a news station in Dallas immediately as an anchor. It's almost impossible to do, especially if you don't have much experience. To be an anchor, evening anchor, you have to have years of experience. So I would have to start off as maybe like a reporter or something like that, and I really didn't want to do field reporting. And so I said, what is another job? And I did like news, but I wanted to do something else, if that makes sense. And so I'm realizing now, I think what I really want to do with my degree is be a host. I watch a lot of dating shows, game shows, things like that. I'm going to blend this concealer in a little bit more. Dating shows, game shows, but I want to be a host of maybe some type of dating show. I feel like I would do really, really well at that. So that's the next goal, is to get hired to host somebody's dating show. But yeah, so the job that I have now, I found out about it through substitute teaching. So this is the powder I'm using. It's the Charlotte Tilbury. It's the best pressed powder I've ever used. I also used the Revolution powder on my clients. It worked really well, but for myself, I use this Charlotte Tilbury powder. I'll open it. I get a light shade because I like bright under eyes. This is in the shade 2 medium, and I think there's one is fair, but this is the one I use. So I dab it on here. Some people dab the excess on their hands. I just go straight in with it. But if it's your first time using this powder, I would dab off the excess because it is very pigmented. And so I put that under my eyes, and everywhere else that I put concealer, I start with under my eyes because I don't want it to crease. And then I'm going to put it everywhere else I did concealer. So yeah, my first job, it's like for a nonprofit organization, and I'm kind of like a college advisor, so I help seniors figure out their next steps after they graduate from high school. And I really love it. The best part, honestly, is the kids and just seeing like how they grow over the year and their minds change. Like I had students who didn't want to go to school and didn't want to pursue higher education, and now they're like, you know what, I could actually see myself at a school. And you know, for me, I'm a huge HBCU advocate because I know what my HBCU did for me. Shout out to Grambling. And the opportunities that it gave me and the confidence that it instilled within me, and it taught me to like advocate for myself and things like that. I'm a huge HBCU advocate, especially for Black students. Also, I'm big on HSI. It's like a Hispanic Serving Institution. For Black and brown students, I feel like you should go where you are seen and appreciated. Now, other schools are great, but sometimes I tell my kids, I'm like, you only have, especially if they're in between and they're like, I want to go to an HBCU, and they've heard the stereotypes about how maybe the education is not as good. I tell them, once you get that degree, a degree is a degree, and the education is just as good at HBCUs. And I let them know, I'm like, you have your whole life to be around other people and be the minority. So why don't you go somewhere where you're the majority and you're accepted and you're not just a number? And yeah, so I have a lot of kids committing to HBCUs this year. So I'm really excited about decision day. But yeah, I like that job. And it's also kind of taught me that even though that's not what I went to school for, I didn't go to school for education. This is something that I enjoy doing, and whatever I do next, I want to be able to incorporate something like this into hosting. So I'm still kind of trying to figure that out as well. But yeah, I'm going to go in with the loose powder in a second. After I go in with the loose powder, that's when I'm going to do my eyes. So I got this one yesterday, y'all. This is the one size translucent powder. And then the one that I usually use is the Laura Mercier translucent powder. And I've only used this one, Laura Mercier. I've been using it for years. It's really, really good. But I do want to try the one size today. I've never used it, so I don't know how it's going to look. But I've seen so many TikTok videos, and I just have to try it. So I'm going to try this one today. Hopefully it looks cute, but when I saw it online, I was like, okay. I went and got it yesterday at Ulta. I said, I have to try this. They also have one, it's like a pink shade. I wanted to try that too, but I'm still really getting into blush. Okay. I'm gonna just use it how I use the other one. I get that same triangle powder puff, and I put it under my eyes and my forehead. And this is kind of the baking step. Put it on my smile lines because I do smile a lot. I don't want it to crease. And I just make sure I get a little bit extra under my eyes, especially if I'm going to do eyeshadow. Any kind of fallout from the eyeshadow, the powder kind of catches it. So when I dust it all away, it doesn't make my under eyes look dark. A little bit more. I feel like I can already tell I like it a lot. I think I've seen some people use this as a pressed powder. but I just can't get away from the other pressed powder. So, okay, just going to push that to the side. And now I'm going to go in with, before I do my eyes, I'm going to do the rest of my face. So when it comes to like warming up my face, I've never found like a bronzer that I really, really like. And maybe if you have some recommendations, you can let me know. But I use an eyeshadow palette, and I feel like I mix these two shades together. It's a Morphe palette, and that's been the best bronzer for me. So most of my palettes are Morphe. So yeah, that's what I've been using, and I love it. I've been using it for a long time. See, it's kind of, you can tell it's been used. But I get these two shades. I don't know what the shades are. And I dab off the excess, and I put it right here. So some people say the best way to do it is think about it in the shape of a 3. So if I'm going, starting at the top of my forehead, I'm going here and then down here. You can see it's adding some warmth to my face so I don't look one-dimensional. And I blend that also into my baby hairs because I don't want my face to be a different color from my scalp, if that makes sense. So I'm going to get a little bit more of that. Yeah, so like I was saying, I like my job. I want to figure out how I can combine something with media and communications with the job that I have now. But definitely if you're about to graduate or you've already graduated and you're still looking for a job, just keep applying. And I think at one point I was like, okay, I don't want to do this. I know I don't want to go into anything with education, so I'm not going to accept any jobs with education. I had to kind of put my pride to the side and say, okay, just because this is where I'm starting doesn't mean this is where I'm going to finish. And if God is opening this door, maybe this is something good, and like I'll learn things. And I've learned so many lessons through working at this job about myself, and it's been great. And like God has shown me so many things, and so I'm glad I had this job. I'm going to add a little bit more because I like to have like a really warm, bronzy look on my face. And my forehead is huge, so I like to make it not look as huge. My mom said big foreheads are cute. But sometimes when I wear my hair off my face, that's why I like to bring my baby hairs down a little bit, just because, so my forehead is not just like boom. And then I'm going to do my nose really quickly. Let me see a brush I could use for that. Let me use this one. This is e.l.f. That's what it is, e.l.f. I don't know where I got this brush from, but it's an e.l.f. brush. And it comes in kind of like a green-brown packaging. It's a really good brush. I've used this for highlighter. I've used it for eyeshadow, concealers, and it's good. So today I'm just going to use it for my nose. I go in with a little bit of a lighter brown shade, and I start at the top of my eyebrow, and I blend it into my eyebrow a little bit. And then that's when I bring it down the sides of my nose. Kind of see. And then as I add powder and do a few more things, it's going to kind of melt a little bit better. I'm going to go back in with that powder puff and go up the sides just to define it a little bit more. Okay. I'm not going to do blush yet. I'm going to wait until the end. The blush that I have, though, is the Juvia's Place one. It's the Volume 4. My line sisters were talking about it. And it's so nice. My first time trying it was on my clients the other day. And I was like, oh, I have to use it. So for my eye look today, like I told you, I have a work event. And I'm speaking at it. So I want to kind of look cute. Something subtle, not just over the top, but something to kind of bring attention to my eyes. This is also a Morphe palette. I don't know which one. I got it at, I got it at Ross Dress for Less. And I love it. If I'm trying to look for things like nice palettes on sale, I always go to Ross. They have so much makeup there that there's nothing wrong with it. It's just they had, I guess, too much at the main store, so they sent it to Ross, and I get a lot of my stuff from there. I love it. So yeah. Before I do that, let me do my eyebrows. Sometimes I do my eyebrows like the very last step, but when I think it was maybe 2016. 2016 was like a big makeup year. I'm using the NK Makeup Auto Eyeliner Pencil in the shade Dark Brown. Sometimes I will use this shade. It's a little bit of a lighter brown. I don't know which shade it is. It says AA14 because my hair has like the lighter colors, but I just use a light hand. I go in the natural shape of my eyebrow, and I just fill them in just a little bit. But back in 2016, when we had it was the thick brows with like the concealer, and it was the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. Oh, I was on those brows heavy, and I was using the pomade. My eyebrows were huge. They were super thick, and my boyfriend at the time was like, yeah, I don't like your eyebrows. I told him he was being a hater. And now I'm like, okay, yeah, that did look a mess. But at the time, for the time, it was cute. So I don't know if you can kind of see the difference. I go in with a light hand. I don't want my eyebrows to be too dark. I want them to kind of look natural, if that makes sense. I'm going to do the other side. In the natural shape of my brows. Now, I've also had clients whose eyebrows I do, they might not have as many eyebrow hairs. Like my eyebrows, they used to be thicker, but now I feel like they're getting thin. I don't know what's happening. But sometimes I will do the eyebrows first just because I kind of have to make a shape. And if that's you, I would start with your eyebrows before you do the base. It's the same steps, you're just flipping them. And I used to go over the top of my brows with the concealer. And then I stopped doing that, and I started using like my foundation shade to go over the top of my brows. But then last week, and on my clients, I didn't go over the top of my brows at all. I try to get it as accurate as I can with the pencil. And then I just go clean them up on the bottom. And to me, it makes it look so much more natural. And it cuts out some of that blending process, because I do not like blending the top part. Because I feel like no matter how much I blend, I always see a little bit of a white line. So I'm going to get my spoolie brush out any harsh lines that I left. And going with that concealer shade, not the super bright one, but the one that I used before that under my eyes. I'm going to get that same concealer. My brush, I ordered this brush on Amazon. I think it might be a paintbrush, but paintbrushes are really good for makeup. I will find the name and I will put the link in the caption. I'm going to get that concealer, put on the brush, and now I'm just going to kind of carve out my brows on the bottom. Now, as I'm carving out my brows, I'm also using this brush as this concealer as an eyeshadow primer. So I'm going to bring it down on my eyelid, and then I'm going to set it with the powder before I put on any eyeshadow. Just carving them out. Okay. Yeah, that's cute. I used to try to get my eyebrows like super, super perfect, but as I'm learning to do my makeup and make it just look more seamless without the harsh lines, I'm like, it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as I got the shape, then it's cute, because I'm realizing everything really comes together in the end. Now, if you want your eyebrows to kind of pop a little bit, I would go in with that lighter shade concealer and just put it on the brow bone part right here. I'm not doing that today. Just use this one. Like I said, I'm going to get a little bit more of that concealer and bring it down on my eyelid. And I'm going to do the other eye, then I'll blend them out together. This shade, oh yeah, I did say it's the tan sand shade. Go on right here, same thing. I used to use this when I was doing my eyebrows, like I said, with the Anastasia pomade. I used to use this extremely thick concealer that they had from MAC. I don't know what it was, but it came in like a little circle container. And y'all, that is like the thickest concealer I ever used, and I used it for years. It takes a day and a half to blend, and I was like, and it used to get my eyebrows so sharp. It wasn't like liquidy like this. When I tell y'all, it was so extremely thick. If I cannot remember the name, but that's what I used for so long. I don't know why I was putting myself through that. I still am not sure. I feel like that would be good for maybe like an eyeshadow base. I still don't know. It was something my mom had in her makeup bag, and I started using it when I was practicing, because when I was younger I didn't have money to buy makeup, so I would use whatever my mom had in her bag and just use it for whatever worked. That was the worst, and I used it for so long. And then when I saw people using regular concealer, like liquid concealer, I didn't know how they had so much control, because I used to use that thick one, and then I started practicing, and it worked itself out. Okay. I think I like that shape. I'm gonna put the rest on my eyelid. And then I'm gonna blend that out. Yeah, I like that shape. If I need to clean it up a little bit on the top, I will, with a light hand, go over the top with the excess concealer and kind of clean it up just a little bit, but not too much. I'm going to get this brush. My friend got me these brushes. These are the Morphe brushes. They're new. I don't know. Oh, this is the M133 concealer brush. So I think some people use this for under their eyes. I tried it. I didn't like it. But for my eyes, my eyelid, it worked well. So that's what I use to blend it out. There's also a brush that's kind of this shape. I didn't bring it with me, from Real Techniques. Kind of the same shape, and you can also use that one as well. I'm going to blend this out over my eyes, and then I'm going to set it with powder. Blend. Okay, yep. And then I'm going to get that same little powder puff, the excess. I'm just going to tap the excess on top. Set it with that powder. Okay, yeah. This is cute. Once you put the eyebrows on, I feel like you start to see it come together. I feel like the eyebrows just like shape your whole face. So now I'm going to go back in with that E-Tools brush, and I'm going to start on the eyeshadow. So I have this palette. It's like a lighter brown shade and a darker brown shade. I'm going to go in with this lighter one to kind of give the base of my eyeshadow. This is the same brush I use for my nose. I'm going to switch. Now these brushes, I don't know what they are, but they're good. I think some of my brushes I get from the beauty supply store. I'm just going to blend that same shade. I'm not bringing it all the way up to my brow bone, but like right beneath it. You can see this shade is not super dark. It's just a little bit darker than my my foundation shade. Okay. A little bit more. I'm just going to blend that evenly. Like I said, when I'm blending, I'm not dragging it. I'm kind of blending it in like small circular motions, focusing it on the outer corner of my eyes, and then kind of bringing it in a little bit. I'm actually going to go in with my other palette. The same shades I used to warm my face, I'm going to use it on my eyes. And I like using the same shades for things because to me it just makes everything blend seamlessly. I'm gonna blend that on my eyes. I'm gonna add a little bit more the outer corner. And I am gonna go in with a darker shade. I'm gonna use, which brush? The same one. Not a shade too dark, but maybe a shade or two darker than the one you just put on your eye. I'm gonna focus that on the outer corner in the crease. I don't know if you can see the difference, but just focus it on that outer corner, that crease. Did that. Do it on the other eye. And the look I'm going to do today, it's not a cut crease. I feel like it's just the same look I do on my clients when they just want something soft. It's like my go-to soft glam eye look. I use concealer, like a lighter shade of concealer, set it with a light nude or a white powder, and add some lashes, and it's always so cute. Okay. Now I'm going to go back in with this brush and blend out any harsh lines. Just blend all the colors together. Cute. Any excess on this eTools brush, I'm going to kind of tap it off a little bit and bring back some of that nose contour, bring it back into my eyebrows. Because sometimes I lose a little bit of that when I add the powder. And the concealer when I'm setting my, like the base of my eyeshadow. I'm going to go in with this light shade of concealer. I just add a little bit right here on each side. I have this other brush. My mom, she wanted me to teach her how to do her makeup, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to get you all the stuff that you need, but she didn't want to wait on me, so she ordered some brushes off Shein, and I will add the link, but this is that brush. I'm just going to blend out this concealer just a little bit and bring it over. Same thing on this side. I might add a little bit more. Bringing it over. Yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit more. Right here. And then I'm gonna get another brush to kind of blend it. Add a little bit more right there. Okay. I have another Real Techniques brush. It is, oh, it came off. I've had it for so long, but it's this purple one. It's kind of flat. When I find the name, I will include it in the caption. I'm going to use that. I'm going to just tap over that concealer and blend it into the shadow I put on the outer corner, so it's no harsh lines. In the inner corner too, I'm going to blend that out. And also, if you want it to be brighter, I don't want it to be too bright. Like the same way you did on the T-zone area, just let it set for a little bit longer. Blend it here. No harsh lines. You can kind of see it coming together. That's cute. Okay, period. I'm going to go in with that Morphe palette. It's in the shade, it says Vernal Equinox. It's the lightest shade. Tap off the excess, and I'm going to use that to set that concealer. gonna set it. I always add a little bit more to the front, the inner corner, just because I want it to kind of pop. And then with that excess, I'm gonna kind of bring it out a little bit and blend it into the other eyeshadow. Okay, that's cute. I'm gonna go back in with that other blending brush. Yep, I think that looks good. Take this powder puff it got a little bit. There. And so now that I have this part of the eyes, I am going to do the eyeliner. I get this one from the beauty supply store. It's the Ruby Kisses one. It's one of my favorites. I use it on my clients. I haven't found one that I like better, so this is the one I stick with. So I'm going to do that. Sometimes I do a wing, but I'm not going to do that today. Okay. I'm going to use I want to get closer because I feel like I have a steady hand, but sometimes I feel like my hands shake. I'm going to go in with this. Another topic I wanted to talk about was friendship. I want to do a whole episode on like the importance of friendship and sisterhood and having good girlfriends. But I also want to talk about like how sometimes friendship breakups are harder than regular ones. Especially when it's people you thought would be around in your life forever. You just kind of see the friendship just kind of fade. It can be really sad. I feel like I was dealing with that recently. Okay. And yeah, like when it's people you think like are gonna be in your life forever, you imagine these people being in your wedding and you're like, yeah, this is my girl, and then the friendship just kind of changes. It can be very, very disappointing. I think that happened to me this year, and it affected me more than I thought it would, but I feel like I prayed about it. I did what was best. I did all that I could do. I feel like I did what was best for me, and I mean, if the friendship is meant to kind of come back again, then it will. If not, I'm okay with that. So yeah, this is what I have for the eyes. I'm going to do the lashes last. I am going to now dust off some of this powder. My forehead. I did not bring my dark liner pencil. Maybe I did. I don't want to use it. I am going to go in with a small brush. This one. A small defined brush. I'm going to go in with like the darker shades and go under my eye. Like right beneath my waterline. Like that. Now, because I'm going to a work event, I'm not adding the dark liner, but if I'm going out at night, I would love a super dark waterline. I like for my eyes to look kind of like sultry. But I'm going to just add this shadow here today. And at the end, I'm going to go in with mascara. Okay, so now I'm going to take this other Morphe brush. It is the M164.5 brush. It's a powder brush, and just dust off this excess powder under my eyes. And I'm going to do the blush, which I'm really excited about the blush. Okay. So like I said, I got this new Juvia's Place blush. I'm trying to see which brush I want to use to apply it. I think I'm going to do this one. This is a Oh, it's the blush brush. M202 Morphe brush. Says it's for blush, so. And these are the shades, y'all. Look how pretty. It's like a light pink and a darker pink shade. I'm going to use this light pink one. Now, there's also a liquid blush that comes with it. I haven't gotten it yet. I plan to get it, but I don't use liquid blush. I've never used it, so I don't know how. That is so cute. I'm going to go in with that darker shade so I don't look so pale on me. I think sometimes I could have a little bit of blush blindness. That's really pink. I'm going to go in with that powder brush and just kind of blend it out. Oh, I like that. That is cute. Okay. And the little bronzer brush, I'm going to bring some of that back. Just the excess. Okay. Now with that little triangle sponge, I used to put the powder and kind of do that, but now I just use the excess to kind of define it underneath. I have a very round face, so sometimes I want my face to look a little more like snatched. I'll do that. I'm going to use this one. Take this, it's a powder bronzer, M244 Morphe brush, and just dust off any excess that I have. And so now I'm going to go in with it's the L'Oreal Paris Infallible 3-second mist. I'm going to go in with that. I took that bracelet off, it's getting caught. And I'm going to spray my face. I like it. That's cute. This spray is like hairspray. Now, I know some people do use hairspray on their face. I don't do that. I'm not that young. I can't do it. But I'm scared I'll break out. But this literally feels like hairspray on my face. So this is really good. It's the 36-hour L'Oreal Paris Infallible 3-second setting mist. In this red bottle, I get it from Ulta. I spray a lot of it because I wanted my face to stay. Now I'm going to do lashes. I got these lashes off Amazon. It says E.y. Devro. I don't know, y'all. I've been using these lashes for a while on my clients. I think they're so cute, and they're really cheap on Amazon. I think I got these for maybe $6-7, and it comes with so many options. So I'm going to use these today. Whenever I pull out lashes, or like if I'm doing my mom's makeup and I show her the lashes I'm doing, she's looking at me like those lashes are too dramatic, they're too thick, and then I put them on and she's like, oh, these are cute. I'm like, sometimes they look a little more dramatic in the package than they actually do on your face. Okay, so the lash glue I use is the Super Stronghold Eyelash Adhesive Clear. I get it like at any beauty supply store. I'm going to put that the same placement I put the eyeliner. And I have my scissors to cut the lashes because majority of the time my lashes are too long. So I'm going to apply the lash glue. But yeah, like I was saying, I want to do an entire episode on friendship and the importance of having friends like that you keep God at the center, because that is really a game changer when it comes to advice. Anything, you want to have friends that are not going to give you like worldly secular advice, but they're going to give you advice like rooted in Christ, if that makes sense. And so the thing about the lashes, usually I have extensions, but I'm taking an extension break. But if I'm doing strip lashes, I let that lash glue sit. I let it dry clear. You see it's like a little bit blue. I let it dry clear before I put any lashes on. You want to let it get tacky, so that's how you know for sure it'll stick. I have small eyes, so I always just cut my lashes. I don't even need to measure it. I just cut them. I cut off the end, like a little bit of the end, maybe a little more. And then I have these tweezers. I think I got them from the beauty supply store. Some tweezers, they're just like pointy at the end. These are kind of like the lash tweezers, so they have a little bit of a curve. It helps me kind of grab the lash so I could just place it on my eye. I'm gonna open this up again, put the lash on. Ooh, okay, it's gonna come in together. That's cute. Once I place it, I kind of clamp my natural lash and the false lash together so they're not separated. And then I'm gonna go in at the end with the mascara to really blend it together. Oh, these are cute. I use these on my clients this weekend as well. And I feel like that just made everybody's eyes pop. And what's so funny is, like, I do people's makeup, like, I've always done it based on, like, their face. So I want to enhance the features on my client's face. But I do the same kind of style of makeup. I feel like on everyone, I do it the same way I do mine because I feel like it just looks so cute. So even from the placement of my concealer, it just gives like a lifting effect on your face. And I've always been obsessed with like a cat eye look. So that's kind of like the look that I'm always doing with my eyes is I just want my face to look snatched. And I do that on my clients. So I remember in college when I would do like the quartz makeup and people would say everybody looks like similar to me, but it's because I do everybody's makeup the same. I thought it was funny. I'm gonna cut the end a little bit. I think that's good. I might cut a little bit more. Okay. The same thing. I'm gonna place this lash on my other eye. There's this lady on Instagram, TikTok, I don't know who she is, but she does content with one lash on, and she be looking so crazy, but it's funny. I think she does hair. Okay. This is cute. This is cute. I might find me a man tonight. Or you know what? I'm not finding a man. A man is going to find me. Clock it. Okay. I have a problem, y'all, with doom scrolling on TikTok. And it became at one point recently where, like, everything I would say was a TikTok. And I had to stop. I said, I think I'm spending too much time on TikTok. And I remember I went up to my mom and I was telling her that song. I was like, you know it's tea when you see them two fingers touching. And she looked at me so crazy. I said, yeah, I think I'm too old to be acting like this. So I started reading some books again. Because I don't want my vocabulary and personality to turn into TikTok memes. And then people older than 30 have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm going to add mascara. This is the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. It's waterproof. Yeah, I'm literally almost out, but it's one of my favorites. I'll put it on my bottom lash. I try not to make that ugly face when I'm doing my bottom lash mascara, but I like my bottom lashes to literally look like falsies too. When I used to get my eyelash extensions, I would get bottom lashes. It's just they did not last. But if you know of lash techs in the DFW area who do extensions and they add the bottom lashes, send it to me. And maybe if they last, for sure, send it to me because I really want to get back into it. Oh, this is so cute. Okay. see that. I'm gonna do, this is the face. I'm gonna do my lips. I feel like the lips always brings it all together. I have the NYX Professional Lip Pencil crayon in the shade Espresso. And I overline my lips. I feel like I have small lips. My mom says they're the perfect size for your face, but I want my lips to be full. I don't overline them too much. I just go a little bit below my lip line and a little bit above it. One time I overlined my mom's lips. My mom's lips are already full. She said she was walking around, she felt like she was like all day. Okay. You know it's tea when you see them two fingers touching. Okay. I rub my lips together to blend it a little bit. Okay. You see, you can kind of see it coming together. That's cute. And my favorite ever lipstick is by MAC. This is in the shade Myth. This is my favorite lipstick ever. I use it on myself. I use it on clients. I just feel like it's like the perfect black girl nude. I love it. I've used so much, I have to use this little applicator now. I need to get me another one. They're actually on sale right now on Ulta website. They're having a sale. Like, I got some stuff, it was like $15, $20 off. So, put that here. When I do my lipstick, I have me and my clients, I make them pop their lips. So, like, not rub them together, but I just want the lip color to blend in seamlessly with the liner. That's so cute, y'all. That's so cute. Okay. So I think this is pretty much the finished look. I'm going to use this Prep and Prime Fix It spray from MAC. And spray this on my face. And I'm going to add highlighter and then I'll be done. Whew. I need to get me a little fan. And I always say, like, the best part about makeup is how it looks 30 minutes after, because makeup, like, it looks good immediately, but then, like, once you let it sit and, like, your natural oil set into your face, I feel like that's when you get the best look on your face. I'm gonna go back in with the L'Oreal one. It's like hairspray, y'all. Okay, and then I have another little brush from that Morphe one. It's the Morphe 303.5 Eye Packer brush. I'm going to use it as highlighter. There's a little shade in here. It's called Light Ray. It's so cute for highlighter. I also use Fenty highlighters, but this one, I've been loving it lately. Like, it is so cute. Put that on the bridge of my nose. I'm going to add a little bit in my inner corner. And my eyebrow. And a little bit above my lip. And then I'm going to go in with my little beauty blender and just tap everything in. And I think this is it, y'all. I think it's cute. Came out so cute. Yeah, I love this. Yeah, so somebody man gonna find me tonight. That's what's gonna happen. But yes, y'all, this is the finished look. This is like the makeup I'll do if I'm going out with my friends, if I'm taking pictures somewhere. To me, it's just easy. It looks like you did a little bit more than like a natural face because of the eyes, but I absolutely love it. I think it is so cute. Let me take a picture. This is cute. Oh, yes. This is tea. Yes, y'all. But yes, that is the makeup look. So thank you so much for tuning in to Her Reality Check podcast. This is episode 15, the special episode where I did my makeup. I hope that this kind of explained in depth exactly how I do my face. And I hope you enjoyed it. And please stay tuned for the next episode. I have some really exciting things planned. So cheers and have a great day. Love y'all. Bye.